Well, the backlash against poor hapless Beto O'Rourke has begun in earnest. Last week, Beto O'Rourke made a harmless joke about his wife having to work hard raising their 3 kids. But no jokes are harmless in the modern intersectional Democratic Party. Everyone is a threat. So Beto O'Rourke became Beta O'Rourke and issued a meek apology for that and then denounced his own white privilege just for good measure. Watch.
Constructive criticism. It has already made me a better candidate. Not only will I not say that again, but I'll be much more thoughtful going forward in the way that I talk about our marriage and also the way in which I acknowledge the truth of the criticism that I have enjoyed white privilege. Absolutely. Undeniable.
Some would argue it's not white privilege that Beto O'Rourke has enjoyed, but just privilege, just plain old-fashioned privilege. Growing up in a rich family, marrying a rich woman, that's just privilege. Going to Woodbury Forest, just privilege. Nothing white about that. Well, with about 20 different candidates running, expect a lot of this in the coming year. Helping the middle class is no longer that interesting. Maoist struggle sessions are in. Lisa Boothe is a senior fellow at Independent Women's Voice, and she joins us tonight. Lisa, it's great to see you tonight.
Hi, Tucker.
Did you know
Good to see you as well.
that Beto suffered from this thing called white privilege?
I didn't, but Tucker, what are the 2 things that the left cares about the most? It's identity politics, and it's identity politics and political correctness. And we saw that as this played out with Beto O'Rourke. He was accused of sexism for the joke he made about his wife, that he sometimes helps her out. He was also accused of sexism with his announcement video because his wife didn't speak and he spent the time talking. So what did he do? He capitulated to the left, to their outcry, and then he pivoted to blaming white privilege, which is your identity politics. And we also saw this with Cory Booker, who has recently said that there has to be a woman on the ticket, that he's going to have a female vice president. So we're going to see a lot of this play out, particularly on the left with the 2020 field.
Let me just say, I'm becoming convinced that Cory Booker's not real. I mean, I think he may just be this robot or something designed to parrot every dumb cliche the left comes up with. But let me ask you, as a one-woman focus group, how would you have responded if Beto had said, you know what, I actually like my wife, that's why I married her, I wasn't attacking her, it was a joke, dummy, and I'm not apologizing for it, and I can't control the skin color I was born with, I'm not going to apologize for that either, and if you don't like it, buzz off, up yours. How would you have responded to that?
Positively. I actually think his joke was funny because I have a sense of humor, and I don't live my life constantly offended by everything because I feel like that's an exhausting way to live your life. I can understand a joke. I thought he was joking, and it was funny. But, you know, Tucker, he's not the only Democrat that's been in the headlines as well. You've got Chelsea Clinton. I want you to watch this video. It's actually a little bit disturbing.
This right here is the result of a massacre stoked by people like you and the words that you have put out into the world. And I want you to know that, and I want you to feel that deep inside. 49 people died because of the rhetoric that you put out there.
I'm sorry you feel that way mean?
So what you see there is Chelsea Clinton was actually attending a vigil to honor the lives of the individuals who were massacred at the Christchurch shooting. She was there to honor their lives, remember them. And here she is being berated because of the comments that she made in condemnation of Congresswoman Omar over comments that she viewed as anti-Semitism, which, mind you, a lot of people in the country view those comments that way as well, which is why the House actually ended up voting on a resolution to condemn her. Granted, they watered it down, which also received criticism for some individuals on the left, like Congressman Deutsch, who didn't think it went far enough. But there she is being berated for, you know, just something that she had said when she didn't have anything to do with that shooting. So
yeah, it's becoming a society that's hard to live in, and it will get worse until somebody stands up and says, you know what, you're boring, go away. Right. I don't care what you say. Actually, that is the answer, I think, and I wish people were brave enough to do that. Lisa, it's great to see you.
Good to see you too, Tucker. Thank you. Have a great night.
Well, not issuing sad, self-effacing apologies for their own skin color. Top Democrats are warning that if we don't give them full control of the U.S. economy right now, the world will literally be destroyed.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
This is our final chance. The scientists are absolutely unanimous on this, that we have no more than 12 years to take incredibly bold action on this crisis.
It's just pathetic. But this show cares about science, and so we want to assess the claim critically and scientifically. Do we really have 12 years left? That's what they're saying. Is it true? Daniel Turner is Executive Director at Power the Future and joins us tonight. Mr. Turner, thanks very much for coming on. So just throw that right to you. Do we have 12 years left? Is there science that shows that?
Actually, the Associated Press today debunked that, which was pretty fascinating for someone who studies energy and environmental issues, to see the Associated Press walk that back and say, we have never said there are 12 years left to fix climate change. But Beto has said it, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has said it, and the scientists who wrote this UN report have said, that is a made-up statistic that you all have extrapolated. It's interesting that they finally issued the report now.
Hold on, slow down. That's the party of science.
Yes.
We know that. They had a march for science after Trump got elected. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because they believe in science and we don't. And we believe, obviously, in snake handling.
Kids marched out of class on Friday for science.
For science. But this doesn't sound like science.
No, the 12 years number is what the scientists said based upon the Paris Climate Accords. This is where we would like to get by 2030. This happened in 2018. So by 2030, we want to get here. Somehow that number became, if we don't do it in 12 years, the end of the world is imminent. And Beto has said that. Like I said, numerous Democrats have run on that issue. When Beto announced the other day that clip that you just showed, he said that there was unanimous consensus among scientists that we had 12 years left to fix this. And so it is nonsense that they've repeated this over and over again, and it never gets, as you said in your first segment, it never gets corrected and no one apologizes.
So these are basically people you're saying who believe that Bill Nye is actually a science guy and not just a buffoon created by television.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I'd love to ask these folks, I remember a report in 1989, I was a freshman in high school when it came out, that said we had 10 years left. By the year 2000, we had to fix climate change. What did they get wrong then? The same UN panel, by the way, issued both reports. What did they get wrong then that they are so certain that they have now that we have to fix climate change?
It sounds like a lot of what they say is just an effort to immediately take the moral high ground and, holding the moral high ground, do whatever they want to the country.
Yeah, when you do things under the guise of protecting Mother Earth or for the planet or for the children, which is what a lot of them say. Remember those kids who stormed Dianne Feinstein's office a little while ago? When you do things for the planet, you are given a really wide berth. And so it is taking over the healthcare industry. It's taking over basically all employment. It's putting out of work millions of people who work in the energy industry. Funny that Beto wasn't talking about these things when he was running against Ted Cruz a couple of months ago.
It's just fun. I mean, I think of myself as a pretty ardent conservationist, as someone who loves the outdoors and spends a lot of time there. If they care so much about the environment, why are their cities filthy? The cities that they run, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, they're cesspools.
And why don't, in their personal lives, they dictate what they want government to mandate? Bernie Sanders prefers to fly on private jets. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez prefers to take the shuttle on American Airlines to Amtrak. Now, Penn Station, I don't blame her. I would much rather take the shuttle, the airline as well.
But doesn't that tell you you don't want to go to Penn Station because it's disgusting? Mm-hmm. You don't want to walk down the street in the Mission District in San Francisco because there's human waste and hypodermic needles. How should I take someone seriously as an environmentalist if they don't pick up the trash in front of their own building?
They're unable to run their cities now, but somehow if they are given more power to run all of government, to employ basically the entire nation, including those unwilling to work, as they mentioned, somehow they'll be able to fix things. They can't run Amtrak well now. What makes us think that they will build a national automotive grid or train railroads?
I feel like a lot of conservatives, Republicans certainly, are on the defensive as soon as these people start talking and they say, climate is a problem. Instead of just saying you have no idea what you're talking about, there's no reference in science to what you're saying. You're a demagogue and a liar. Why does nobody say that?
I wish they would just point out what actually fossil fuels does for our country, what it does for our economy, the quality of life that we have. The kids who were marching just on Saturday were all with smartphones. There was a girl who had a plastic Fiji water bottle. Does she not know that? And saying, stop fossil fuels. Does she not know where fossil fuels come from and what they do?
what plastic is made of? Thank you very much for that perspective. I appreciate it.